Hey everybody, today we are out in the middle of the Long Island Sound, the middle grounds to be exact, and it's early morning. We're trying to drift for some striped bass. We're going to jig them up. Reports have been okay, but we're coming out of the doldrums. Definitely some change in the wind, cooler night temperatures. I am here with Charlie Kapp. First time out with Charlie, but he's been slaying them all season, but for many years. Charlie knows this area like the back of his hand and has a cool little brand, Kaptivator. Not only does he do videos about fishing this area, but has a really cool apparel line. So Charlie, what are we in for today?
Okay, well, we're gonna try and do a little diamond jigging here. You know, basically what my system is I take these Shimano Jigs, I cut the hooks off them, and everything I have has a circle hook on it, which just does two things. These are Loganzo hooks. They're super sharp, but it also, 9 times out of 10, the fish is just hooked in the lip. Anybody that's diamond jigged with a regular diamond jig with that long hook,
yeah,
you know, those things get buried.
Yeah.
And they're a nightmare to get out. So what I do is I take the Loganzo hook, I heat it up, I open the eye, and I put a barrel swivel on it.
Yeah.
And then I can just put that on a split ring, and I can just change them out. I have a bag of them, and you know, they catch 20 fish or so, change the hook.
Yeah.
They get dull.
Yep.
So, but it's just, with everything going on right now with the slot and, you know, having to release these fish, it just, you know, makes sense. But
and yours is actually, these are Shimano jigs as well. So these,
yeah,
these definitely have a bit more action than a diamond jig.
They do.
I feel. Fishing them the same way pretty much as a diamond jig, or are you?
Yes, yes. So it's basically, I drop, I hit the bottom, and I just do, you know, there's 2 ways to do a jig. You can flip it.
Yep.
Or I just do 10 cranks up.
Yeah. And that Shimano jig is going to do kind of
a lot more
fluttering action as it gets down to the bottom. You're getting picked up mostly on the drop.
They hit it on both.
Yeah.
You know, solid hit is on the way up.
Right.
And a lot of times the bass, you just like give it that extra 2 cranks.
Yeah.
That's when they'll nail it.
One of the things we want to be able to do when we're drifting over the structure, over these edges, is boat positioning is important. Sometimes, you know, you hit these eddies, your boat starts spinning. If you have multiple anglers on the boat, that's going to cause a line tangle or get caught up in the props. We don't want that. Cool thing about Yamaha's Helmmaster system, and since this boat is integrated with a bow thruster and that new 350, I could put this boat into what they call drift mode. Drift mode is a really nifty function that enables the boat to stay in the exact position that you set it up to be in. So it's not going to be affected by any kind of eddies, wind. The boat's going to stay in that position, so all your anglers can be set up and be where they are and just stay there, because the boat's not going to twist and turn, and that makes a difference when you're fishing.
It's a blue though. They pulse. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll typically, you know, I'll target my tide. You know, you've got an hour of slack. I always say 2 hours after the mark. If it's a 10 o'clock tide, you know, somewhere around 11:30, 12, that water's going to start moving, you know, and you're going to be into fish. If you're sitting there at slack tide, you know, what are you doing? And as far as the incoming, outgoing, you know, there's that saying, spring in, fall out, you know, but really it's a matter of where you're fishing and the slope. You know, if you're fishing a western facing slope, you know, you want to fish that on the outgoing. If it's an eastern facing, you want to fish that on the incoming. You know, we have areas by buoy 9, 11. 11 you can kind of do both, but it seems to be better on the incoming in the spring historically. Out here, middle ground, I like the outgoing tide, you know, wherever I am, because most of this stuff we're setting up to the west and then, you know, drifting over it to the east. But again, it's like anything else. You can catch fish on either tide. There's an area up, we call it the boxcars, but that shoal runs way past that R2 buoy, and that can typically be a good incoming, you know, coming up over that shoal. You know, and these are the spots that all the guys fish. And then, like you said, it's just a matter of how you're going to do it. You know, like we talked about snap jigging, you know, which a lot of the guys are doing, which seems to be very productive. A lot of work. But typically, if I'm out there with my jigs, I'm not getting outfished by those guys, you know.
Well, it looks like this summer morning is paying off. Just jigging off of middle grounds, and the bluefish are cooperating. Yeah, this is a pretty cool looking fish. He's probably not a giant, but
Yeah.
he's fun.
5, 6.
5, 6 pounds.
Get your bicep
Look at him.
working.
Look at this guy. This guy's savage.
Part of the piranha family, right?
Piranhas. That's
They are,
it.
right?
Jigging with a modified slow pitch jig, basically. Circle hooks, barrel swivels, and just jigging off the bottom, structure everywhere we go. This time we're marking fish, and
He's a little
as you can see,
bigger.
these are working just fine.
Perfect.
Definitely a bluefish. You can tell the difference.
Yeah, but there's some bass in here. Anthony, take a picture of that radar, sonar.
Roll. All right, so we managed to pick off a couple of bluefish, which is always a lot of fun. Those late August into September patterns often do get better, so get out there. Charlie, thank you so much. I mean, just to get some insights into how you fish, and you've been doing it for a while, and which is one of the things I love about the Kaptivator brand. There's authenticity here. You know this fishery. This kind of, you're part of the community of avid anglers that are out here in the Sound. So, what's the goal looking forward for content?
I've got some people that I want to bring out on the boat, people that I know that, have taught me how to fish.
Yeah.
Old timers, and kind of give them a little bit of a light and a voice. And so I think that's important too, the history. The funny thing is, like when I was coming up fishing, I had to go down to the bait and tackle store, and I had to get those guys to like me. And then maybe they'd give me a little crumb of information or tell me what lure to go. Now you can just go on the internet and it's all right there.
There's a lot of abbreviated, very short form content out there. The long form feature interview with the Sharpies of the past who have things to say that would never come out. There's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
I really think that's the kind of thing I like watching, and I'll just sit there and, I don't care if it's an hour long, but these are iconic people who have something to say. You can learn from them.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you.
And we got to do
Really
it again.
appreciate it, Mike.
And
Anthony, thank you.
yeah, appreciate it. And look, this has been a fun day, but we're going to head back. We'll see you on the next one.